The grandeur of monarchy is often built on centuries of tradition, unyielding protocol, and unspoken understandings. Yet every so often, a monarch arises who dares to reshape the fabric of that legacy, not to destroy it, but to breathe new life into its very soul. In a move that has left even the most seasoned palace insiders astonished, Denmark's newly crowned King Frederik X has not just stepped into the enormous shoes left behind by his mother, Queen Margrethe II, he has set his own path ablaze with bold reform. But perhaps no move has been more stunning, or more symbolic, than the one that recently took place within the serene but symbol-laden halls of Danish royalty, a prestigious honor bestowed upon two young men who had been, just a few years earlier, stripped of their princely titles. Yes, Count Nikolai and Count Felix, the sons of Prince Joachim and grandchildren of Queen Margrethe, have returned to royal headlines not as castaways of a modernizing monarchy, but as honored figures in a new royal vision led by King Frederik. The occasion was both poignant and powerful. Amid a ceremony marked by pomp and emotion, King Frederik conferred a rarely awarded honor on Nikolai and Felix, an act which sent seismic waves through the Danish royal establishment and captured the heart of Queen Margrethe herself. When Queen Margrethe II announced her abdication in early 2024, she cited age and the natural cycle of monarchy. But few could have predicted the emotional and symbolic ramifications of that moment. Margrethe, the longest reigning monarch in Danish history, had been the embodiment of continuity. Yet she departed not with rigidity, but with an unusual openness, a readiness for her son to evolve the throne in his own image. And evolve it he did. In the months following his accession, King Frederik X, along with Queen Mary, began introducing a style of monarchy that was at once contemporary, inclusive, and quietly revolutionary. But no move would stir deeper personal emotion than his decision to honor his nephews, the same boys whose royal status had been downgraded under Queen Margrethe's reforms in 2022. To understand the full gravity of Frederik's action, one must revisit the so-called title crisis of 2022. In a decision that stunned the public and left the royal family deeply fractured, Queen Margrethe announced that the children of Prince Joachim, Nikolai, Felix, Henrik, and Athena would no longer hold the titles of prince and princess. Instead, they were to be known as Counts and Countess of Montpezat, with the justification being a desire to allow them to live more normal lives free of royal obligations. The decision, however, was not met with universal approval. Prince Joachim was publicly distraught. His wife, Princess Marie, gave emotionally charged interviews. Count Nikolai, then just beginning to make waves in the fashion industry, spoke of the sadness and confusion it brought to his identity. While Queen Margrethe defended the move as a step toward a modern monarchy, critics called it cold, abrupt, and even divisive. The royal family, ever polished and composed, suddenly appeared human and fractured. It was against this backdrop that King Frederik's gesture unfolded. By bestowing a prestigious Danish honor, rumored to be the Order of the Dannebrog or a royal commendation for service and representation, on Counts Nikolai and Felix, Frederik did more than reward his nephews for their quiet dignity over the years. He issued a symbolic embrace, a message that within the Danish monarchy, no door is permanently closed. For Queen Margrethe, who attended the event with visible emotion, the moment was reportedly overwhelming. Though she had stood firm in her decision 2 years prior, the sight of her grandsons being honored, not shunned, elicited what palace insiders are calling a private moment of reflection, and even praise for her son. She was visibly touched, said one source close to the royal household. There was a quiet look of approval. She may not have reversed her decision, but she admired how Frederik handled the past, respectfully, but not passively. This honor to Nikolai and Felix is more than an isolated event. It marks a pivotal moment in the reshaping of the Danish monarchy's image. It signals a more compassionate, responsive style of kingship. Frederik is carving out a legacy that balances tradition with evolution, dignity with humanity. By re-engaging with the younger generation of royals, he is also rejuvenating the institution. The move also reflects a deep understanding of modern public perception. Nikolai and Felix, both in their 20s, are social media savvy, global in outlook, and have resonated with younger Danes. Far from being liabilities, they are assets in rebranding the royal image. Already, the ripple effects are being felt. Danish commentators have praised the king's actions as healing, visionary, and symbolically brilliant. European royal watchers are calling it a masterclass in dynastic diplomacy. And Queen Margrethe, in a private but widely reported conversation following the ceremony, she is said to have uttered words few expected: "He's given them something I took away. And somehow, that's made me proud." For all the focus on Frederik, this is also a moment for reflection on Queen Margrethe's unique legacy. Her reign was marked by unparalleled dedication, intellectual depth, and cultural contribution. She remains deeply beloved, but this recent act by her son may be one of the greatest compliments to her legacy. Not a contradiction, but a continuation in a new key. Her abdication made room for a new kind of monarchy, one with fewer titles but more humanity. Frederik is proving that the two are not mutually exclusive. In a way, her earlier decision set the stage for this redemptive moment. Without the fall, there could be no rise. Without the fracture, no healing. And that, perhaps, is what made her eyes glisten with tears as she watched Frederik place the royal emblem upon her grandson's shoulders. This is not just a story of honor, it's a story of family, reconciliation, and evolution. It is the story of a queen who made a hard decision, a son who showed heart, and grandsons who carried themselves with grace through years of uncertainty. As the Danish monarchy moves forward under King Frederik X and Queen Mary, one thing is clear: the crown is in capable hands, not just of a ruler, but of a father, brother, and son who understands the deep emotional weight of the institution he now leads. And as royal observers across Europe and beyond watched the images of that prestigious ceremony unfold, one question lingered in the air: had we just witnessed not a change in titles, but a transformation of the monarchy itself? If you found this royal story as deeply moving and inspiring as we did, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. What do you think of King Frederik's decision to honor Counts Nikolai and Felix? Did it mark a new chapter for the Danish monarchy or reopen old wounds? Let's discuss.